Yo, back on the board with some more repairs and fix it. As you can see, all lights on, it's Christmas. And I went through every single pre-fader and after fader solo button. There were a few of those not working, now not anymore. I had spares, I switched boards. I didn't actually repair anything on a soldering level. I would have to do that for more, and I will build spares for the studio, so you have drop-in replacements at hand. Anyways, this is all good. The mutes are all good as well and checked. So this is all nice. And now I have this unit access that says air instead of layer. I might change that. Only reason I haven't done that now is my replacement unit looks nice, but does have, I don't know if you can see it. Yeah, there's a scratch right here. So otherwise this looks neat. But I haven't decided yet if I put that in. Though the original unit looks pretty used as well. So that is one thing. And then all my meters. Yes, this one is too bright. So I will have a look at it. And then there is this one with an X. And sometimes part of the LED strip fades. But I now have replacements, so I will change that as well. And then I have a pretty neat looking board. Also very functioning. Not much left on here then. On the board, next steps. The server needs better ventilation. I'll keep you updated with that. And then, of course, getting the I/O programmed. Nice one. Oh no. Oh no. Do you remember one of these panels that was too bright? Yes, I changed it. And look what happened. I broke something. No. Red error. Error. Oh no. Oh no. We are testing the interfaces for the Lawo. And you can see here the ones that work perfectly are checked. And then other ones you can see here. We have channel 2, now 3, 4 and 7 not working. And actually out of 14 interfaces, we have 7 that are working. So it's pretty bad. And we're checking here the ones that are marked. Channel 4, channel 5. This one has a whole array not working. 5, 6, 7 and the 8 has half level. So, ooh, that's not good. Here we are back. Gosh, look at this beauty. And yes, I reconfigured the center section because I was spending time at my own studio and figured, well, the way I have my hands set up when mixing is normally I have my computer there, I have my right hand for the mouse and then the left hand for fader, right? So my studio I would have like a fader port 16. Here I have my neat little access fader and the panorama section right there, so I can control the mouse with the right hand and make volume adjustments with the left. Now I did remove a few other things, so we have even more space here. Got all the blank plates used now, so there's not more space to do on this console, but this is plenty for a laptop. This is nice for a mouse with a pad. I love the setup, love how it looks. Then also what we did, and I showed you before. Yes, nothing to see here because the computer is back in. And I successfully installed a backup battery. So on shutdown, and I will show it to you on another occasion. On shutdown, I can now just cut the power And this computer will turn off automatically, which is nice. I don't know, Windows NT is a bit more sensitive in... You shouldn't put a power plug in order for the file systems to not be corrupted. And then also what happened is that before, when turning on the system, normally they should auto sync, right? But the PowerPC somehow got stuck somewhere. So I hooked up my laptop here now with a serial port, trying to debug, and guess what? Everything starts up now. Right now I'm not turning on everything with one switch because I'm still fearing that I will trip the breaker on this one. So I will turn on the console, then I turn on everything in here with one thing, and guess what? It syncs automatically, which is amazing news. Now there's still a little bit to do with this console, but we're getting stuff fixed. Feels amazing. Okay, so here I am. I completed the DSP test now that I am able to read from the PowerPC. I configured these 5 DSP clusters are not working. Very sad. A lot of processing power. Each card has 6 Shark DSPs. So that's not working. Very, very sad. But I was having 6 DSP cards, each with 3 clusters, working before. I had one more that was completely working. And then I have one last board that I can now fill with one working cluster of 3. Now the way that this system works is that when you configure your DSP, you can choose between how many auxes and sums and whatnot you have, and the remaining kind of DSP results in how many input channels you have. And then if you look at the distribution, it is always first the auxes and sums, and then lastly the input channels, right? I told you before that I wasn't able to get more than 6 DSP boards on the system. Well, let me show you. So in the user config, there's this DSP folder where the PowerPC gets the states and configs, and these files are weird and they are being read by the PowerPC that understands what's written here. We don't. Now I figured that in order to change the number of DSPs, you have to change the contents of this folder, and then in the files that I got from Lawo, I have these folders. This one is now labeled DSP8. And then if I would go, I would have for DSP6, 4 and whatever, these folders. When the content of this folder is the content that I shall put in that DSP folder. Now, I told you I have right now 8 boards installed, with the 7th just being kind of empty or just has the first cluster. Now, if I look, for example, here with 8 cards, I can see on card number 8, the 3 clusters are my very last inputs, and then I'm missing 16 inputs because I do not have the clusters for that, right? And if I look at all the other DSP variations, here we have it. It's all on card number 8. It's all inputs, and I can just spare them because I would know they are not being used. Well, that is bad. There's a sum on there. Oh wait, the first cluster I have. Awesome. What's on the others? Some 5 to 8. That's bad. Yeah, some 5 to 12. I would have 13 to 16. Okay, maybe not the best idea, but let me show you the options you have. And I don't know if you remember, with 6 DSP boards, I could get up to 90 inputs. Now look what happens if I have 8 boards installed. These numbers are crazy. 152 inputs with 8 sums, 16 groups, 16 auxes, and 16 tiny auxes. That is all I want for mixing. And then imagine 16 being down because I would be missing one cluster, right? So that's like what? 136 inputs? Incredible. Yeah, the last ones that had sums on the clusters are configuration with monitors. I probably won't use them much, I think. Yeah, this is... Oh, I loaded something. This is all I would need. Let me load that. 152 channels, here I go. I did it. Turns out if you register the DSP, he doesn't like it if the ports are jumping, right? Before I had my original configuration 14 to like 21, and then I added the 13 and the 22, and now I just have them in the right order and he would recognize it. Now I think he still gives me the error on DSP 8 because I don't have all the clusters on there. But well, that's it as a Gesamtausgabe. It might be working now, right? These all look good. Here we go, massive processing power. Now, he won't register my board 8, right? So, yeah, I cannot get Sambas for crash board, so looks like I'm not able to run it with 7.5. I can run it with like 7 and not have the last 3 clusters working, so that is 24 channels in total missing, right? The control system saying the same thing. Board 8 not in reconnection request state. Yeah, and that's what the management server actually decides, the states of the DSP. That means for us, and I will test all of these, right? If I'm on the DSP configuration, I'm not having a 152. It is minus 24. So it's 128 inputs. Or 64 stereo channels. Let me load that. Yeah. Processing power loaded. Now, I will try to get more DSP cards somehow from somewhere, right? I, of course, need spares. So right now it's just all the cards I have, right? If more stuff fails, then I might get in trouble. So I would try to get more cards. The other option would be downscaling, right? So that I do use it with only 6 DSP boards, but have 1 spare, which is the more economic and ecological option. Less processing also means less heat in the rack, the Serverschrank. So for now, probably the better option, but you're seeing what's possible. And that's just crazy numbers, right? Yeah. Look at the 24 tiny inputs. That's 176. Here we are finally insulating the doors. Thank you very much, Florian, Mr. El Don Da Vinci, for your help here. Yes, just gluing these on the doors with silicone. And we have plenty of those as we took them out of our studio. And now they're here in the Serverschrank. A few more doors to go, right? And then I'm ready to hear how that sounds. Here we are. Guess where we're at? Inside the Serverschrank, aka the server rack. And you can see I modified the fans here. Do not touch it. These edges are sharp and the fans are spinning, but it's way quieter without these grills. And I mean, it's a closed rack, right? So why not modify it? So yes, that is what we did. Then also, because remember, the fans always registered as an error. I figured the correct wiring for these fans. You just have to bridge pin 3 and 4. That's what I saw on the system in the Netherlands that I worked on. And look at that, all fans registering. No more errors. We are making this system perfect. It's so nice. And then also, if he's gonna scan that, I should get the no, or I should not get fan error anymore. Good stuff. We are trying to fix the meters, and I'll show you. We have 2 different sets of meters. I made one naked. So we will be able to exchange some of the strips. You see, these ones are green and have a dot where the 0 is. The other ones are green and red above 0, but do not have a dot. So yeah, we're gonna swap things around and see where we're at. Also, I have one module that is broken, where the 2 strips on the right show wrong things. Let's see. Also, I started working on the broken D2A units, and if I go in there, I can test signal on these test points, and I can follow it all the way back to the amplifier that I have here, and that is the first station after the DAC. And my fear is that the DAC, in this case on channel number 5, is broken. I'm not getting any signal out of it. I will test the capacitors around it first. Also, of course, because I'm not very good in and resoldering SMD components. But I am seeing data on there, and everything else is identical. I'm just not getting any signal out of that chip after, and I don't know if it's this chip that is broken, the op-amp, that could very well be too, or the DAC. Also, the output of the DAC is so low that I'm having trouble measuring it with my little scope here. Let's see. Okay, so I ordered this thing, which is your helper to get out these chips. And as you remember with the meters, my suspicion was that the spare meters that I have different firmwares installed, and my broken meter probably has something wrong just with the input amplifier or something, but not with the firmware. So I already went ahead and swapped these one by one, because I don't actually know where the software is that is controlling if I have a dot at 0 or not. So I started with this one. Now this tool is awesome. I will just show it to you how you do it. You put it on and you press it all the way down, and then you can grab it and just pull it out. Super simple, super easy. Now I already switched it. So this is the one that I broke, that has the, but it has the correct LED strips with the red LEDs above 0 VU. Okay, let me pass you over. And you can see, after swapping just this one chip, I now do not have the dot here anymore, which is awesome. I will now, at the laptop, turn on the whole system. And also, because I swapped the chips, I want to see if the previously broken one is now having the firmware with the dots on the 0 VU. You're going to see. And here you have it. You see our old meter that we broke now has the software where there's a dot at 0 VU. And our spare meter now does not have this, which is matching the other meters. Now I think this little dot here is kind of cool, but sadly I do not have enough firmwares to transfer this to the whole board. So I will stick with the original configuration. I will now continue to get the LED strips over because the LED strips are working fine. The issue that we're seeing here probably has something to do with the meter amplifiers. So if I play it now, you see the different configurations that I have. This is the broken meter. I already swapped one LED strip over. I will do this with the other three to then have a functioning meter here. Let's do it. Okay, and here we are. Now the meters are fixed. Everything is working properly. Looking great. Awesome. Fixed. Okay, so I am exercising SMD soldering, and here goes my first fail. You see, one side has all the pads ripped off. Now luckily I do have some boards of faders that I can use, and I will start exercising with these op amps. Even though I am pretty sure, or I fear, that my problem with the DA units is an DA chip. That would be this one. And I'm exercising here with flux. I have low melt solder, and I have a normal soldering station, and I'll try today, see how far I can get. And maybe I do need a hot air station for that. We'll see. There is my second attempt. No pads removed. Next step would be to clean these up with a wick. No. Yes? How's this called in English? Litze. Yeah, I'll probably do some more just to exercise. Then I'll try to solder some of these on. Then I try chips with more pins, but the low melting solder works a treat. It doesn't take longer to remove than, you know, I have 2 to 4 seconds of heat applied, which should be fine for every component. Cool stuff. Okay, here we are. 5 SMD ICs desoldered, and they look healthy. I'm happy. They don't look burnt or anything. Now, if I look at my board, seems like the pins are there, but just some of the solder had the form of the pads. I mean, yeah, the soldering pads. So that looks good. I cleaned it a little bit. And then next step, let me try and solder some of these back on. Okay, here we are. Does it show properly on the macro lens? Yes! First SMD chip soldered. I'm pretty happy. Pretty happy. Now I'll do the other 5 as well, just for training. And then I will try to do a bigger chip so that I would be able to exchange the DDAs as well. Because my theory is that these are the actual problem. Let's go. Okay, here I have 3 resoldered. Now sometimes they are a little high above the pads, and that is because I probably need to remove more solder from the pads so I can really lay the chips on. They're flat, but otherwise very rewarding experience. Super nice. Okay, I don't know if I'm ready yet for the real thing, but here we have one unit that has quite a few channels broken, and I will be taking out one of the DDA chips from here to put it into another unit that only has one channel not functioning, right? Here I have the first 4 channels working, 1, 2, 3, 4. And I will put the DDAs into a unit that has only one channel not functioning. And as you can see, I have 3 of these units. I have the 5, I have the 4. Yeah, I have here channel 5, here it is channel 4, here it is channel 5. So if I'll be getting these to work, I'm already happy. Let's see, and my guess is that they all have similar faults. but I will try with this one where I measured already and I suspect the DDA. So I will change this. Otherwise it could be the op amp. If it's the op amp, even better, even easier to replace. But let's start the DDA. Okay, this is exciting. I applied the low melt solder. It worked quite good. Now let's try to get this chip off. And here it is off. Can I get it in? No, in focus. But yeah, looks good. Let's clean this up. Let's put this in the other unit. Okay, here it is in my first proper SMD soldering. Stressful. I had problems with the desoldering braid, but luckily the chip stayed cool all the time. So there's something about this technique that works, and I never applied too much heat at once. Maybe that's why I had stress, because I was maybe too careful. But I'm quite optimistic. If you look at the pins, they're a little bit to the top, so not 100% centered, but it looks good. I'm not sure. I mean, I've seen a lot of people using desoldering braid to kind of clean up the pins and bridges. I hope that still has a connection now, but also measure a bit and then turn it on and see what happens. Okay, here we are. So we have all channels playing like before. And if I go now to the test pin, I see music. I see music on 2. Music on 3. Music on 4. Seems to be a soft part in the song right now. And then the most interesting. This is channel number 5, the one we soldered. And there it is. Yeah, we fixed it. And here it is, the second device repaired. 4th channel was not working. I confirmed it to be the same issue. Here it is, the DAC chip replaced. Awesome. And here we have 4 repaired interfaces on one day. I'm super happy. That was big fun and very rewarding. We now have 11 output units working, in total 12 inputs, so we have 88 outputs, 96 inputs confirmed working. There's this one device here that still has 3 channels non-functioning. I'm trying to source more of these chips, but I'm not seeing them anywhere online. This device was our donor today, so it only has 3 broken chips left. Yeah, but that's it. I'm very happy. Big steps forward.